in 2015. We have been in the artificial intelligence and the process automation space for past 5 to 6 years. We consult with various organizations across the industries in the space of process automation. Along with me, I have Shri. Shri is a blockchain expert. He is associated with an organization called Altimetric. And I'll just quickly hand it over to Shri to introduce himself, and then we will walk you through the topic of today's webinar, which is the essential skills that we need to look at acquiring in the space of RPA and blockchain. So over to you, Shri, for a quick introduction.
Thanks, Amit. Hello, guys. I hope that you are all well and your family and friends are all safe and secure in the current pandemic times, right? Tough times, but I believe everyone is doing well. Thanks a lot. I would really appreciate Amit and his team to giving me this, for sharing me this opportunity to speak on this particular topic. A quick introduction about me. I have a total industry experience of 15 years. I have predominantly worked on the BFSI side of this industry, where I have been involved in product development and consulting on the financial services side, where my expertise lies on the payments industry. On blockchain, I have started my interest from 2015, where I got involved on the blockchain topic, started investigating myself, okay, what exactly this blockchain topic is all about. I have worked with 2 of the top 10 blockchain companies in India on various consulting and solutioning aspect of it, and been very vocal on this particular topic. I have written written some blogs on blockchain, cryptocurrency, and also given seminars on this topic as well. So, in a nutshell, that's what I have been doing on the blockchain and my industry. I've been doing for last 5 years. So, Amit.
Yeah, thanks, Shri. So great, welcome all of you. Let me get started with today's agenda. So what we will look at in today's webinar is a quick industry outlook on robotics process automation and blockchain, various applications, various industry applications of these 2 technologies, and how these 2 technologies are helping various business processes across sectors, across industries. We'll also look at the impact of these 2 technologies, which is the RPA, which is process automation, and along with that, we will also touch upon artificial intelligence, how artificial intelligence, RPA, and blockchain are impacting the various sectors, and what is the future and what is the road ahead for each of these technologies in various business operations. The idea of today's webinar is to understand why these skills, or why acquiring skills in the space of RPA and blockchain are becoming essential, how these 2 technologies are slowly but very steadily kind of impacting our day-to-day work, and why is it important for us to acquire these skills. We'll also, towards the end of the webinar, we will also talk about 2 of our programs. One is the RPA Developer Program, and besides that, we also have RPA Solution Architect and Program Management programs. So we'll look at RPA Developer Program today, and a basic program in blockchain is what we will discuss, an outline of these 2 programs. So even in blockchain, we do have a few other advanced programs, but we'll begin with this. So let me continue with the robotics process automation. I'll take a few minutes to explain you how robotics process automation, what is the evolution of automation as such, and where is robotics automation placed today. And then we will go gradually and understand what is the future of robotics process automation, where is it heading and how is it evolving. So this is one diagram or one schematic which talks about the evolution of automation, how automation evolved, where did it start, and where are we heading. If you look at the robotics desktop automation, so this is the first um, level of automation which started happening post the software and hardware revolution in the computing space. And uh, structurally, this type of automation was able to handle only the structured data, or rather processing the structured data. And when I say structured data, it basically means that, if it is already in a computer readable format, the data was processed by the desktop automation with a very, very minimal contextual awareness in the algorithms that were built around the robotics desktop automation. Uh, so that was the first step of when we actually saw the in various industries starting adopting automation. Then around 2016, 2017, the robotics process automation started in some form or the other, and it started, gradually taking shape where problems with the use of artificial intelligence and machine learning, problems like understanding the uh, structured as well as the semi-structured data, including some form of unstructured data as well, with the very minimum level of contextual awareness, right? So that was the next phase of robotics process automation at the time of introduction of robotics process automation. And I'll talk about how robotics process automation is now evolving. So robotics process automation is now evolving with a whole lot of advanced interventions with artificial intelligence, machine learning, NLP, and some of these advanced computer vision technologies, to be able to understand uh, or rather to be able to process the unstructured data with cognitive abilities. So RPA is gradually now has moved into an autonomics, and now slowly and steadily also enabling various processes that are led by narrow artificial intelligence. So process automation, which is the robotics process automation, is parallelly going as the artificial intelligence to enable the various process automation is growing. And moving ahead, yes, at some point of time, we will also see a whole lot of evolution and a whole lot of advancement in the or which will actually head us from this narrow artificial intelligence into a general artificial intelligence space, which is basically today RPA, or the artificial intelligence, is mimicking human actions. When we actually move towards general artificial intelligence, that's exactly where the automation will mimic human brains. So that is the difference between narrow artificial intelligence and what lies in future, what lies ahead of us. So let's look at what are the what are the high level trends and where are we heading. Okay, so if you look at various reports, and these are some excerpts from some of these reports. So PR Newswire predicts that the global intelligent automation market will typically grow from which was around 2 billion in 2020, will very, very rapidly grow to 46 billion in 2030, by 2030. Uh, Last year, with the COVID-19 impact, it has actually accelerated the growth of RPA and other automation technologies. as per various reports, and Gartner has very specifically mentioned in their report that how much of acceleration has happened in the last 1 year itself. So obviously that as the industry is moving fast towards adoption of automation, it is also driving individuals to reskill themselves on AI and on various automation technologies. As per one of the reports of McKinsey, almost about 375 million individuals will need to reskill themselves in order to cater to the demand that artificial intelligence and process automation is going to open. Almost 375 million people will need to reskill themselves. So that's the prediction by McKinsey. Um, a related data point, which is basically salaries of RPA skilled resources, is almost about 2 to 3 times as compared to any normal non-technical worker in an equal experience grade. One of the few general thought is that oh, RPA is coming, so RPA will actually not create jobs but displace jobs, right? Or RPA or artificial intelligence or automation. But as per a very in-depth research conducted by Pew Research, 52% of the experts, these are industry experts, they estimated that RPA will actually end up creating more jobs than it displaces. So fundamentally, what we are talking about is a very collaborative human machine future. And some of these intelligent process automation or intelligent bots that we build, we call them digital workers. So the work environment will change, where uh, today we have only human workers with various hardware and software which enables automation. Uh, the future will basically be human workers along with their digital co-workers, uh, who will enable the acceleration of any business. So let's move ahead and understand what is the adoption of RPA by industry, right? Um, let's look at this data. Various industries, so retail and e-commerce. Okay, so this data is basically 2020, and how is it going to grow in each of these segments in the next 2 years, which is by 2022 end. So if you look at this, a very rapid growth across industry sectors. Retail e-commerce, which was 17% was the adoption in retail and e-commerce of RPA, is now very rapidly growing during this year as we speak, and it is going to grow to almost about 82% penetration. So retail e-commerce will move to 82%. Similarly, manufacturing will move to 88%. Energy utilities likewise. Technology, media, and telecommunication is much faster adopting. They have already reached almost about 54% of adoption, and looking at a very high penetration of about 93%. Healthcare, which really, kind of last year was a tough time for the healthcare industry, a very high pressure point for the healthcare industry. And we saw RPA and AI adoption in the healthcare to be able to gear up for various situations. Uh, it very rapidly grew to 29%, and it is going to continue its growth path. Banking and financial services has been an early adopter of RPA and artificial intelligence, and that also continues to grow at a very rapid pace in the next 2 years. So, what are largely the benefits? I mean, how does it actually help my business, right? I mean, whatever sector, whatever business that I am in. So it enhances, or RPA basically enables me to enhance the process analytical capabilities by taking over the mundane task, and some of the bots, which are artificial intelligence enabled bots, they are also able to process the unstructured data much faster, and saving a lot of human time, right? Second is regulatory adherence. It helps significantly in regulatory adherence, because whatever jobs that are being currently done by the human effort, if these are mundane jobs, they are also prone to error. Whereas if we implement automation, the error rate reduces significantly. Okay. Uh, Data security and privacy, because obviously the entire processing is done within your environment and within the within the data security, there is no data which is sent outside. Cost reduction is massive benefit. One of the biggest benefits that any automation drives. So what we are talking about is, if there is a process enhancement or efficiency enhancement, at the same time, we are also talking of very strong ROI results. Uh, I've already spoken about better accuracy and reliability, and all of this is actually leading to two very important things. Okay, one is your employee productivity goes up and employees are happy, and second is it results in a very significant improvement in the customer experience, because customers are more demanding, and in any business form, customers are looking at a better experience from their services provider. I'll just quickly run you through what are the high level applications, or what are some of the applications of RPA. So across functions, across sectors, so functions like sales, customer relationship management, and support function, where you can generate quotations using RPA. You can invoice, you can generate invoice, you can process invoice. In customer relationship management, new account registrations can be completely automated. Um, the help desk and case management can be significantly automated with some level of human intervention. Only the level 2, level 3 can go up. Level 1 can always be managed by the bots. Technical support, other support functions, technical support, and also HR day-to-day tasks that are involved in human resource management. So there are various, these are some of the functions in some of the sectors like healthcare, like things like patient onboarding, auditing, clinical documentation. So there are applications where some certain clinical documentation is processed much faster, including the reports and images like X-rays and so on and so forth. So that part is getting very accelerated. In banking and financial services, fraud detection, some of those very important risk and regulatory compliance related processes. So there are various applications. These are just some of those applications to give you a high level view of how RPA can be implemented across various functions and various sectors. Let's also very quickly look at what is the maturity in industries by stages, right? So when I say industries by stages, means beginners, the new industries, and the market leaders, right? So if you look at, while the market leaders have already reached a high level of adoption of almost about 56%, and they are going to grow. But a very rapid growth is coming in the new companies, new industries, right? So beginners are currently at 6%, and they are going to rapidly grow in the next 2 years to almost about 84%. So the RPA adoption maturity is really kind of going much faster. One of the reasons I would like to quote here, and that is related to what we are our main topic of discussion today, or understanding, main topic of understanding, is that RPA is very easy to learn and implement, right? So even though it's a technical skill, it does not require a very high level of coding understanding. Or so as long as one understands the business processes, RPA can enable them to be able to RPA knowledge can actually enable them to be able to be part of this transformation over the next few years. So I'll hand over the blockchain part to my colleague Shri, and then we will come back to walking you through the various programs and Q&A. So over to you, Shri.
Hey, thanks, Amit. Uh, so before we start, right, maybe from the audience that we have today, uh, maybe someone can point out their understanding about the blockchain. Many of you who are present here would at least have heard the term blockchain and how it was invented, right? So can someone raise your hands? Can we have that option over here, Amit? Maybe we can find out who are well versed or something like that, or at least has a brief understanding of blockchain.
Yeah, I'm just looking at, so I don't have anybody who has raised their hand.
Good morning, guys.
Yeah, anybody? Yeah.
Hi, good morning. Thank you so much. This is Chandresh here. My understanding of blockchain is you're trying to connect the two data points or two data sets in a kind of a block, or chaining them together so the data integrity is maintained, especially when you're doing transactions like purchase sale transactions or any type of transaction between the two parties or multiple parties involved throughout the chain. Correct me if I'm wrong.
It's a bit right, but there is some more depth to it. Maybe also someone, thanks for that, Chandresh, thanks for that confirmation. Maybe someone else who would like to give it a go.
Okay, so Shri, I guess, I mean, like, I have a very brief knowledge of what blockchain is, and as per me, blockchain is a digital record of transactions. So, yeah, it is a block of information that is, I mean, any information is linked to the another in the form of blocks. So, individual records stay linked to each other and create a single list, forming a chain.
Yeah, good. Sorry, I didn't get that. Who just spoke now?
Okay, this is Bikansha.
Hey, hi, Bikansha. Anyone else? I guess let's give one more try.
I can try.
Yep.
So my understanding is on similar lines. It's just like in any activity, if there are multiple transactions happening, blockchain is kind of keeping a record of the series of transactions. So preserving all the past transactions, and the new transaction is kind of building upon that. So essentially, there is a full track of the kind of history of that process. So one example was about like if there is coffee originating from Africa and going through 10 different steps in reaching to the chocolate manufacturer in Europe, all that transactions could be recorded in a series. So every handover of that commodity will be recorded digitally and is verifiable, is traceable.
Okay. Is that Sandeep that who just spoke up?
Yeah.
Okay. So I really appreciate Sandeep, Chandresh, and Bikansha. You are right in somewhat on that particular sense, right? See, in technology world today, when we talk about data, right, what are the key aspects of the data that we need, right? It should be easily accessible. It should be able to sustain the growth of the data that has been flowing in. And it's the third and important point is it should be secure, right? These are three major things about data that is there out there today, that it should be there, right? Before blockchain came into picture, right? We all work in an IT domain would try to relate to this. We always had a single database to be accessed for multiple systems, right? And in case if that database went down, sorry, anyone spoke up?
No, Shri, I think somebody just joined, so it beeps. That's
Okay.
okay.
So if that single database went down, right, we had a disaster recovery center where it used to take some time to come up, right? If you would have seen in some cases where you're doing a financial transaction, uh, sometimes you would have the case where the database is not accessible or the entire system is down, right? The reason being it has been accessed all the multiple systems or all the different users that they are using that particular system, right, are hitting the same database at a single time. So the disadvantage to that is, right, yes, the data accessibility reduces, and as much as the transactions or it grows up, it becomes difficult and harder for a particular system to access that particular database going forward. So blockchain as an idea, or it is came through in 2009, right? This person called the name Satoshi Nakamoto, who invented a currency called cryptocurrency, right, called Bitcoin. And he accidentally, or the base of the technology that we today call or we are aware about is called as blockchain. What blockchain does is, which is slightly different from the current database, it is a distributed system, right? So for example, if me, Amit and Jayesh are using uh, are the users over here of the particular system, right? We ourselves would also have a database at their location, right? It is a peer-to-peer network. Similarly, what we had for downloading, we called it as BitTorrents, right? It is same as that. What happens in BitTorrent is we have a link, we move it to our system, and the BitTorrent gets downloaded, which has access to multiple users application. So due to which what happens is even if one user or one system goes down, it has the system has access to a different database altogether, and it is easily accessible. So it is no longer dependent upon a single system, right? Blockchain has three major parameters or pillars, you can say that, right? One is the decentralized, the other one is cryptography, and the third and important thing is it is secured, and um, nothing can be deleted from that particular system, right? So that is the three major aspect of blockchain, right? So in general, this is a gist of what blockchain is today and how it differs from the current use of a single database system. So Amit, can you just go to the next slide? So as we could see, by 2025, the business value added by blockchain would grow to more than $167 billion, right? The surge can exceed by 3.1 trillion by 2030. So that is a huge amount. And that is what blockchain brings into perspective of this technology today, right? Amit, can you just move to the next one? Yeah. So here we have an industry-wise breakup of where blockchain is predominantly used, right? If you could see, financial services is one of the greater in industry where blockchain has been used very dominantly, right? About around 40%. When we talk about financial services, it is not only on the financial transaction, but we have very different uses as well, like digital identity, document sharing, and all that, right? That is one of the key aspects where blockchain has been currently used. Post that, when we talk about what are the other industries or other areas where blockchain would be used is healthcare and government and public sectors, where we will see in the next coming slides where we what are the different types of use cases under each and every sector of that, right? And yeah. So as I mentioned, what are the benefits and what are the pillars of the blockchain technology? It is definitely a decentralized, so it is not dependent upon a single user or a single database, right? It is more secure. There's a technology called as cryptography, which makes it more and more secure, right? And increase in network capacity. It is much more capable of traditional network. So as I mentioned, it is uh, we can have a seamless transaction or seamless data flow using this particular technology, as much as your data grows, it can be used and much more widely used this particular technology, right? And definitely, while we talk about with various use cases, one of the key aspect of this particular technology of blockchain in the financial sector is it becomes faster settlement over here. I can give you an example when we talk about faster settlement. It is in trading, right? When we talk about trading and when we talk about a back office trading settlement, where it takes around 2 or 3 days to settle a particular trade, while using blockchain, what will happen is as all the systems are linked together, it it becomes much more faster and easier for all the parties to agree at the same point. That is one of the key aspects, right? Every party that is involved into transactions, they are all on the same page. It makes sure it doesn't move from one person to another. Whatever transactions that are happening at the same go, and all the users that are on that particular system or on that link would be able to access it. And that is what it is. A classic example we can give over here is the use of a Google Drive. So whatever you, if I am editing a particular document on a Google Drive, it can be easily accessible by one of my partners. He is able to see who has changed the Google Drive, who has changed the details in the particular sheet in the Google Drive. It is not hidden, right? That makes it easily accessible, trustable system, right? And yes, that is what the distributed ledger means. And as I mentioned earlier, it is immutable. Whatever you make changes to the blockchain, it cannot be erased. Once it goes on the blockchain, it stays on the blockchain. You cannot remove it. Yeah, Amit, next slide, please. And now we go a little slightly deeper on the use cases what blockchain has in each and every industry areas. As I spoke about financial services, we have trade transactions and peer-to-peer exchange, as well as insurance and proof of ownership. So if you just browse through all the use cases across industries that are being used today, there is one common thing that we could make a note of. That is identity and digital management, right? So wherever it is required to have proof and digital identity maintained, blockchain is one of the very key technology where that particular use case can be used, right? Today, if you look at financial services and transactions that happen today, right, definitely blockchain as a technology, it is growing, right? Bitcoin today, if I give you a very basic understanding of Bitcoin, right, which was the first use case of blockchain that came into picture and limelight. Uh, Today, settling or carrying out a transaction in Bitcoin per second, right? There are around 10 or 17 transactions that happen per second on Bitcoin, right? Whereas today in Visa or MasterCard, where they are giants in doing a card transactions or digital transaction, they have around 24,000 transactions per second. So definitely in financial services and doing transactions, it is little slower. But the other aspects to it, when we call about non-financial transactions, right? Digital identity, document verifications, right? Blockchain has a very critical use for that. So just browse through it where you would would be able to know that the major or one of the common use cases that we have on blockchain is the identity and the document verification, right? Wherever you have a look at it, right? Even in healthcare, public sector, automotive and mobility, energy, telecom, manufacture, transport, as well as retail, right? So that is one of the underlying use cases that we have over here. Yeah, Amit, next screen, please. So this is again one of the slide where we speak about the impact of blockchain in various sectors. Definitely, financial services is one of the key areas where we have seen a very high use or an impact of blockchain, and it adds into or results into cost saving, right? Because today in any sector we see uh, where the data mismap, where the main area where the loss happens is the data mismanagement, right? That is what one of the cases or misused word in the technology sector, the data mismanagement. With introduction of this particular technology, it will save us a lot of amount and lot of time as well. Amit, next slide, please.
Yeah. So, thanks, Shri, for walking everyone through the various interesting use cases and various interesting aspects of blockchain and how blockchain is actually transforming our world today and how will it actually continue to transform our world tomorrow. So I will walk you through what are the essential skills. I mean, why are these essential skills required? We've spoken about in our program today, our webinar today, while we were talking about RPA, automation, and blockchain. So why are these required, right? I mean, and fundamentally primary reason is that all of us are professionals, and these skills will help us in an accelerated career growth. So if these technologies or if these applications are growing at a very rapid pace, it is important for us to be up to speed and acquire these skills as early as possible. So in the RPA side, how will RPA skills help us? So first and foremost in problem solving and analytical skills, which are very much required in our day-to-day work. A huge effort is going in collaboration with AI/ML, the human brain and the artificial intelligence collaboration. That is something which we'll talk about, which will actually transform our workplaces of tomorrow. Human bot collaboration, which is very similar to AI/ML collaboration, but more to do with repetitive tasks that we carry out in our day-to-day work. Uh, Change management. We need to understand change management much faster than what we used to understand earlier. And these skills, the process automation skills, will enable us to, kind of uh, get to or come up to speed on the change management aspects. And of course, building and deploying bots. So if I'm an RPA or a process automation or a IPA, intelligent process automation expert or a developer or a solutions architect, I will be able to put together I will be able to very quickly put together a bot which will start doing the tasks for tomorrow. So there are no very long, prolonged software development life cycles to reach there. It's a very quick, it's a very quick implementation. So that's exactly why we need essential skills on the RPA. On the blockchain side, Sri has spoken about and emphasized during his presentation in terms of why do we need blockchain skills. So, as he mentioned, distributed ledger management, the whole world, the entire transactions are actually slowly and steadily, or rather, I would not call it slowly, because, going back by the number that she had shared with you, it's a very rapid transformation that is happening. So towards distributed ledger management, understanding smart contracts. So Shri spoke about a scenario where multiple entities are engaged with the help of blockchain technology. Multiple entities are engaged into a transaction at the same point of time. So he gave you an example of trade settlement, which used to typically take 3 days, and now they are getting crunched in almost real time. And while multiple parties are engaged in a particular transaction, the contract management between these parties is a very critical aspect. And of course, understanding of cryptography, which fundamentally, leads us to the safety and security of the transactions, data structures, interoperability within various environments. So these are some of the top skills that are needed today, that will enable us to move very swiftly and smoothly into a high accelerated career growth. So with that, I come to the last slide of our presentation. These are just two of the programs that we currently have put up on the presentation for the purpose of discussion today. Basically, an RPA developer program and a blockchain basics program. And this is the content. We have spoken about the content during our presentation, but I will just very quickly highlight the main points of these two programs. So we start with what is RPA, a complete overview. Then introduction to various technologies. We take UiPath as one of the platforms to introduce, but we undertake when we build or rather when we take you through the RPA developer program, we based on the various technologies, we run programs on UiPath, Automation Anywhere, Blue Prism, any of those technologies. We take you through how to build an orchestrator, what are the various workflows, how to manage workflows, enterprise frameworks, how to we train you during this program. We train you on how to manage different output methods in RPA, and also look at how unstructured data like a PDF, email, or a web automation is managed. So all of these skills with building an RPA bot and building an RPA orchestrator for process automation is what we take you through in the RPA developer program. Similarly, in the blockchain basics program, just to highlight some of those points, introduction to the program begins with introduction to blockchain, importance of what is the importance of decentralization, and some of it we did speak about in our today's conversation. Cryptography, what is cryptography? How does it help in building secure transactions? What are the various different use cases of blockchain? What are the various applications of blockchain? How a blockchain landscape looks like today and in future? There are certain planned use cases and certain implementations. Then we talk about, we walk you through smart contracts. What are the various examples of smart contracts? What is the process of building a smart contract? Evolution of various cryptocurrencies and why cryptocurrency is evolving and why is it needed in the future, right? So that is the program outline for these two programs. And as I said, that we do have advanced programs in blockchain, as well as we have a few more programs in the RPA and the intelligent process automation side, which are the solutions architect and program management roles related programs. So we have a complete skills enhancement plan for both of these technologies, which is the process automation and blockchain. To conclude, I would also just walk you through what are the various program fees. We are running a special promotion, and hence both these programs, the RPA Developer program and the basic blockchain basics program, which we were offering at 749 USD and 849 Canadian dollars. So Canada, because of the billing, there is taxes extra in the USD prices. The taxes are included in that. So that is what we are offering at say $499 and $599 dollars. So let's move to, so that brings us to the end of today's presentation, today's webinar. I hope you all enjoyed the conversation, or enjoyed, the conversation actually continues, but I hope you found it useful and insightful.
Amit,
Let's move
if
to
I may add.
question. Yes, go ahead,
Yeah,
Sri.
sorry. So guys, we just need to understand one thing, right? Whatever the technology that we are using today, there is always one thing that will remain common going forward. That is the use of a database, right? So the reason that is so structural and important today, the use of database and how uh, seamlessly it has been available to all the systems that are being feeding from the database, right? That becomes more critical in today's age, because today we are growing so fast. Instead of having, because see, I come from an era where digital transformation had just kicked in, where we had big systems, and the implementation of those big systems used to take days, months, and it used to cost the organizations plenty, right? But right now, if you look at, we are moving into an API micro-based services kind of a system where the implementation is done very quickly. But in order to make sure all those systems that are being, or technology that works round the clock and seamlessly, we need a very drastic use of a database. And going forward, a single database would not be a solution at all. We need to have a decentralized database that would give an edge going forward to any systems that are being used, right? Or any technology that is being used. So be it RPA, be it AI, API technologies, the base remains the same, which is database, right? That is one horizontal line that goes across multiple technologies. That is a database. And blockchain is the future towards it. So I guess that is a very interesting topic. You guys should definitely join in, hear about what blockchain is, and that would really add value to you.
Yeah, great. Thanks, Shri, for adding that particular point. I think that was very important, and extremely important from our future work point of view. So let's move to questions. Any questions, anybody?
Hi, Amit. Chandresh here again. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Hi, Chandresh. Yes.
Hi. Two questions. One, I understood the blockchain as Sri explained, and in between we said about Bitcoin, or there are other currencies like Ethereum and others that participate in blockchain. My question is how the use of this blockchain technology is related to the Bitcoin currency itself. Does it mean they are trading in Bitcoin, or they can trade also in fiat currency like US dollar or Canadian dollar? So how are they connected?
So right now,
Yes, Shri.
Chandresh, Chandresh, when we talk about blockchain and cryptocurrency, right? They have Bitcoin has its own fabric or system that is being used to trade in Bitcoin, right? Ethereum has its own system. and other technologies or other cryptocurrencies that are coming up in the market today, right? They have their own system or fabric. In blockchain technology, it is called as fabric, right? So that means a system that has been used all through, right? So that is what it is. But fiat currency is not used on blockchain technology as of now for transactions. There have been some use cases or pilot cases, but they have not been used. As I mentioned earlier, right? Transacting on blockchain system, it takes a lot of time. Bitcoin, which is one of the fastest fabric to transact between one user to another, it takes around for per second, right? It uses around 17 or 20 transactions, whereas the other giants like Mastercard or Visa that I just spoke about, it does a transactions of 24,000 transactions per second. So that is the difference today. But as I mentioned, blockchain as a system is evolving. It is getting faster, but it is just the use of cryptocurrency today. And that as well, one cryptocurrency can be used using a single fabric. We cannot have multiple cryptocurrency using a same fabric. Got my point?
Yeah. So basically, both the sides, for example, if somebody's buying and selling, both are dealing in Bitcoin currency itself, not
Yes.
in fiat currency much. Okay.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, and my second question, yeah, sorry.
Yeah, they are not. That's right.
Yeah, and the second question was again on the blockchain was around decentralized financing. Okay, can you shed some light on what does it mean?
Centralized financing means for example, SBI. Let us take a big bank like SBI, right? So they have a central database. So wherever the transaction happened today in the world, across the globe, right? They have a single database which has been based out of Bombay, right? So all the transactions have to be routed to a single server, and from there it has to go to the respondent, right? So if, for example, Chandresh, you are transferring money to me, right? Let us for a use case, let us have a simple INR to INR transaction. So if you are sitting in Delhi and transferring money to me in Mumbai, so the transaction via the system will come to the central database which is located in Mumbai, and from Mumbai it will come to my account. Even though it is faster, just imagine that the entire server gets shut down or it's been hacked, right? That is one of the possibilities. But today, for example, Chandresh, if you are doing a transaction and with me, and Amit is also there today, right? So we three people would have their own database system at their level, on their machine itself. So whenever a transaction that happens between Chandresh and me, all the three locations, all the three systems would be updated in one go. So for example, tomorrow, if the hacker wants to hack one system, he will hack Chandresh's system, and we would find that, okay, Chandresh's system has some irregularity, but Amit and Shree's system are in sync. So that is how we would identify, okay, this is a black sheep over here. We need to rectify some details. So that is a major difference between a centralized and a decentralized system, Chandresh. I hope I was able to explain your point.
Yeah, I got it. So, I mean, you're saying that multiple, I think you, to an earlier point, multiple databases will be working together in sync to perform or complete one transaction. But coming to your point on one vulnerability, say my laptop is having some vulnerability, will the hacker or cyber criminal have opportunity to perpetuate to Amit or to your systems?
So at one go, right, the hacker has to make sure that he hacks into all the three systems together. And that sometimes becomes impossible, Chandresh. So it is a different terminology. That's 51% of the attack. That I would definitely take it, cover it up in the blockchain section. But it is highly impossible today. I'm just giving you a layman's understanding that we have three systems, but right now, all across the globe, if there are many people, right, the hacker has to make sure that he hacks into all the systems that are up, and that is humanly impossible. Even he makes first attempt to hack your system, right? There would be the next transaction would come in within say 1 second or 5 minutes, for example. It would identify an anomaly at your system, saying that okay, there's an anomaly at Chandresh's system, right? It would identify that and it will throw that out. So that makes it secure, because all the systems have to be in sync no matter what. If your system is showing 1 rupee, all the other systems should show 1 rupee as a balance. There should not be any differences. If it shows a difference, it's an anomaly and it will throw it out. It will identify there is something wrong over there. So, so just understand one thing, Chandresh. You are making changes at an Excel on your machine, right? But we have a secure place, a common place like a Google Drive where we are maintaining all our records. You do whatever you want to do at your system, but unless and until we all are seeing the same access to the same system, right? That makes further security to it. So in a gist, this is what blockchain also works like.
Yeah, got it. Thanks, Sri.
Thank you.
Can I ask you a quick question as well?
Yes, please go ahead.
Like you give example of Google Drive or Visa, MasterCard. So there are certain people or organizations or entities who are behind that, and they're maintaining the infrastructure and platform to allow those activities. Behind blockchain, there seems to be no government entity as such. So who are the people behind maintaining all that, different databases and whatever transaction information is there?
I'm really sorry, Sandeep. I am not able to hear you properly. Amit, are you able to hear it properly?
No, Sandeep, I think your voice is breaking a little bit in between.
Okay,
can you just repeat that question?
Yeah, my question was that behind the blockchain, is there a particular entity or organization who is maintaining all the infrastructure and platform and database, etc.?
So, Sandeep, there are 2 types of blockchain available in the market today, right? If you look at Bitcoin, it is publicly accessible, right? So no one is maintaining anything. It is there live on internet because no one owns internet today, right? If you just want to go ahead, download the Bitcoin application to your system, and you will start doing that, right? So it is just like your BitTorrent, Sandeep. I'm just talking about a public blockchain. It is just like BitTorrent. So BitTorrent has access to all machine, but no one owns that. Correct? You got that point?
Yeah.
Right. But moving towards a private blockchain, right? So for example, private players, when we talk about banking today, right? Financial services or healthcare today, right? So those blockchain systems would go little privately, right? They definitely don't want the user data to be available and accessible by everyone and anyone, right? So for example, in private players, let us assume that ICICI, State Bank of India from India, right, versus Citibank, JP Morgan from US are operating a private blockchain. So these 4 participants would have the infrastructure maintained on their own. That is what it is. And based on technology aspects, they can say that, okay, I will make sure that I will have a 51% maintain of that particular record, and they can have that contract build going forward, right? So if they are building supporting this infrastructure 51%, they will have an data access of say 80% of all the data that is there, and so on and so forth. I'm just giving you an understanding, something. So that is one of the difference between public and private blockchains. Right. Does that answer your question, Sandeep?
Yes. Thanks.
Okay. Thank you.
Folks, I think we went a little over than what we had originally planned. Do we have any questions? Any last question, please? All right. If you don't, then Amit and Sri, I would like to thank you both for taking time in the evening from Bombay to talk to us. Appreciate you explaining us the basic concepts of both RPA and blockchain, and also helping us answer some of the questions. So, folks, if you have any questions about either of the programs, feel free to reach out to me. I will be able to connect you guys with Amit to take this further. Amit, any parting words?
Yeah, so great. Thanks, Satish. Thanks for organizing this, and thank you, everyone. We really enjoyed the conversation today, and we look forward to many of you and your colleagues and people who you know at your workplaces to come and join our training programs. So thanks a lot, and have a wonderful day.
Thank you, Satish.
Thank you, folks.
This. Thank you, Amit and Sri.
All right.
Thank you, guys. Take care and stay safe. Bye-bye.
Thanks, everyone. Stay safe.